Time for another tactical review. This is the second game in the Asia Pacific tournament between Gal O'Neill and Captain S. Gal O'Neill is playing the 6th Airborne and Captain S is playing the 16th Luftwaffe. Now, the map is Merderet and it is named after this river that goes through the map and creates a few choke points across these bridges. Now, most of the map is going to be usually focused around this manor house in the middle. And an interesting thing about this is that the center line, the 50-50 line, goes a little bit off bias. It's a little off center from this manor house. So anybody getting into this manor house, especially for the team that's on the east side here, they are going to get a little bit of additional bonus by pushing this 50-50. If people stay in the trees on either side of this 50-50, you know, it depends on which tree line you occupy. Okay, so we are going to see where the major points of focus are going to be on this map. There's really kind of two areas that I think we're going to be watching. One is in the top area around this set of hedgerows, and then the bottom area is around this set of hedgerows. So we'll try to maybe jump between the two and see what we get. Okay, they are off to a start. Let's see where they're trying to meet here. Okay, they're pretty conservative. It looks like Gal O'Neill is trying to go for the manor, whereas Captain S is staying with the conservative play in the tree lines. Same goes for the bottom edge. Each is being fairly conservative in their approach, and there's not really too many meeting engagements to be expected initially. Now up here in the very top part, let's take a peek at what is happening here. Looks like Gal O'Neill is bringing in a recon unit with a Willys MMG, whereas Captain S is bringing a couple of Ostruppen or some sort of infantry unit. Let's see what he pops out here. And it is one of these Luftwaffe Jaegers and a recon unit, the Fusilier. This Willys MMG is very nicely waiting for them on the road to try to push them back, and that's going to allow this recon sniper here to get the tree line, which is very nice. So very good placement initially. For this top hedgerow here, we do see a mortar coming in from Gal O'Neill, and that is providing some stun to whatever he's going to be doing with this infantry here. We do see it moving forward to the tree lines and then pushing the front line over accordingly. From his point of view, he's not really seeing too much here. He does have a Pathfinder here, but because of the range, it still needs to be fairly close to see somebody in green cover. So this unit that's right here is just out of the 200 meter range. So that's why he's probably not seeing it there. Oh, it ducked behind the tree line, so that would be the reason. That's very nicely played. Probably has to turn off the auto cover here to get it to stay in that position. Tetrarch is providing fire support as well as the mortar. Down in the south, we see a mortar from Captain S being used for some fire support here, stunning up this recon unit and allowing him to push forward with his Fusiliers, his recon, and his Luftwaffe Jaeger. Tree lines are initially going over to this pioneer unit, and in the top we see that the manor has been occupied by Gal O'Neill, and it gives that little dimple there, which gives an extra little boost. Now the points are now at +1 for Gal O'Neill, which is going to put a little bit of urgency onto what Captain S is doing. But it seems like the primary action right now is here in this top area. This Luftwaffe Jaeger is here on the edge of the forest with a Pioneer just sitting here waiting within the 100 meter range to throw his satchel charges. Now Now that is, it's bundled grenades. Now the nice thing about the bundled grenades for the German side is that they have usually more than one, whereas the Allied side usually has a lot less. Now, what we're seeing here is Galileo is nicely softening up this tree line, and what he needs to do is send somebody in there to try to occupy that space. Now it looks like Captain S just used his leader unit to pop a smoke there. Now let's see how Galileo wants to capitalize on that. Sniper is moving forward, but the sniper being a recon unit doesn't affect the tree line, doesn't affect the front line, and that's why we see this wide swath here. Same for this recon unit here. Okay, down in the south we see again the tree line battle going on. Captain S is pushing up his Luftwaffe Jaeger, and in this tree line right here, looks like he's bringing it to the very edge, try to do something against these units here. And if we look from his point of view, he does see that there is airborne paras there. Now, if we see the matchup between these two, or actually it's an airborne Bren group. Airborne Bren group does have a little bit extra with the longer range as opposed to the short range. We see that the Luftwaffe Jaeger here has this long range MMG. So 4 plus 2. This is the long range. Everything from 300 to 400, or within 300 meter range. Shows that that they're fairly well matched. Can't click on it while they're retreating though. Looks like the mortar here coming in from Gallo Neal is trying to even the odds and stun things up as this Luftwaffe Pioneer moves. Fire support is coming in from this Bren carrier, looks like. So Panzerjäger Bren mostly has some AP, but it does still have a few shells for HE, which is used for fire support. So mostly it looks like it's going to be a placement for something against anti-tank, which I don't see much coming up. There is the Tetrarch there, and so maybe that's what he's hoping to counter with. Gallo Neal is moving these paras up, and if we look at the paras, they are excellent close combat fighters with 12 HE. He's moving that forward, but Captain S has his on turn fire only. Okay, so two mortars up here in the top. Airborne paras moving in for some close combat action, and they are going to be going against Luftwaffe Pioneer with 1 grenade left and a Panzerjäger. So hopefully these close combat. Oh, this is an Oxen Bucks. So an Oxen Bucks has a little bit more with the longer range than shorter range, but still has decent with short range with two of these submachine guns. Let's see what happens here. Mortars are not causing any suppression, so they're going in. It looks like that Pioneer got his grenade off and totally wiped out that what was remaining of the paras, and it stunned up this Oxen Bucks. Now the Oxen Bucks won't surrender as long as it's within the command radius of this leader unit here. Okay, so very holding the line here up in the top for Captain S, and it looks like he's trying to make a significant push down here in the bottom. Most of the infantry has been cleaned up, and looks like he's establishing a nice solid line here. Still not anything coming in, so it is wide open. Looks like Gallo Neal is trying to slow things down with his mortar, but being that he can't really see where things are at, it is making it difficult for him to target.
Enemy nearby.
So it looks like the infantry has already made it underneath that. The leader unit is sticking there, but these infantry are moving forward. Looks like Gallo Neal wants to try to make another go at it, but this was stunned up from that airplane coming forward, dropping its bombs. Immediate engagement here between the airborne Bren group and the Luftwaffe Jaeger. Luftwaffe Jaeger was on a straight move command, but then now went to an attack move and got the surrender from that. Down in the south, still not anything from Gallo O'Neill in response. So here it comes, some infantry moving it forward fairly aggressively, very far forward. Let's see if he adjusts that as it comes in. Line established here still, pretty solid from Captain S near the top. 3-man Oxen Bucks moving forward, it looks like. Good counter battery fire coming in from Captain S. Looks like it took out that supply jeep and now has stunned up and forced back the mortar. Looks like these mortars are getting low. This is a fresh mortar. Looks like they're getting low on ammo though. Okay, so Gallo O'Neill has brought his units out of the transports early, which is good because he doesn't want to get shot up. He's advancing without any fire support across open ground here. So let's see how well he does against this line we have here. Not too much fire support other than this Bren carrier firing its 2HE shells. Now, Gallo O'Neill is bringing this forward, this Tetrarch, but the Tetrarch really only has a machine gun for infantry fire support, so otherwise it has AP. Should be an interesting matchup between this Bren carrier and the Tetrarch, though. Let's see what happens with that. Now, over here on the left, we do see an airborne pair kind of hanging out in the back, occupying territory. Now it's going against this Luftwaffe Fusilier. The Luftwaffe Fusilier is on an attack move. It has fairly decent long range with 4 plus 2, 6, versus the airborne pairs of basically 4 and 4. So, or 4, so 2 and 2, 4. So 4 against 6, but the veterancy goes to the airborne pairs, so fairly good matchup. Now it looks like Captain S is bringing in this this fire support with this 630 MG, so it'll be interesting to see how he brings that in. Now got the airborne pair stunned up. What he needs to do now, what Captain S needs to do now, is change from an attack move over to standard move and try to get that moving forward. There we go. So moving forward, going to get surrender out of that. Gallo O'Neill here has made some progress with his infantry against the other infantry, but Captain S has brought in this 630 as fire support, basically just an MMG on a universal carrier, it looks like. Over here in the north, pretty much static positions. Looks like the infantry has been depleted on Gallo O'Neill's side. He's going to try to make a few aggressive moves here to see if he can try to get back into these forests. This airborne pair group here is hanging out fairly nicely. Doesn't look like Gallo O'Neill can see anything that's next to him at the moment, these other units, and these other units probably can't see him as well. So, but we do see the bulge there, so they have to know that something is there. And Captain S is going to make an aggressive move, attack move into these other areas. Still looks like it's going to go sliding right by that unit. This air landing infantry is pretty much walking into a hornet's nest there. Has this this machine gun fire support coming into play here. Now they find the airborne Terra, and he brings this Luftwaffe Jaeger here to get it stunned up. Now this Panzerjäger comes over, and all the focus is coming onto here to try to get the stun up and see if we can get that surrender in there. There's the stun, and hopefully we can see him moving forward with just a standard move, a blue standard move, to try to see if he can get the surrender. Let's see, just going to keep it. There we go. There's the blue move in there. which doesn't pause it to fire, it just keeps moving to get the surrender. Middle part of the map seems to be fairly well taken care of. Now we have this this 630, two 630s here against a Cromwell. Now their machine guns are not going to be able to penetrate this, so it should be nice to see what happens with this Cromwell coming into the factor here. It does have 5 HE on its main gun, so it is good fire support, and with all that armor, Captain S is going to need something decent. And what he does have is he does have this 88. So it looks like that 88 got a good shot off, and is forcing the Cromwell back. Mortar unit here is out of HE ammo, so it's not going to be able to do much. This 630 here is providing pretty good fire support. It's in a good position, so it's hidden away from that Cromwell, which has been taken out now by the 88. So really no fire support here in the bottom. And Gallinule surrenders. Okay, so popping up all around the map, looks like it looks like the north was being focused in on by Gallinule, whereas the south was being focused in more by Captain S. The KD ratio was about 2 to 1. Looks like it was mostly due to infantry loss, so it looks like Gallinule was losing his infantry with trying to take those forests and basically ran out of infantry to throw back into the meat grinder. If we go over to the kills, looks like everything was fairly even in terms of what it gave us. The Tetrarch here was that one that I believe was, actually this one was in the south, but we didn't really get to see any of its action, unfortunately. From Captain S, looks like a lot of these units here were the ones fighting in the forest in the south. That's where he was primarily focused at. So looks like these pioneers with their bundle grenades was really doing a number against Gallinule's infantry, and I think that's what ended up costing Gallinule the match, because basically all his losses are infantry, and so I think he just ran out of infantry to hold the line. It shows the importance of fire support. Now, one thing that Gallinule was doing nicely was all those mortars, so he did have a lot of fire support there, but it looks like near the end of the match he was running low and never really brought in a supply. The one supply that he did bring in got mortared and blown up, so just unfortunate there. Okay, that'll do it for this replay.